What's up, everybody? We're back again for round two, OPD one of our April series. We're going to cover things you can control on this one. Uh, the big recurring theme you're going to see is we're going to talk about the officer mindset and maintaining balance is going to be a common thread throughout all these. The list of stuff we're going to cover is not all encompassing, so during the interactive portion, please bring up things that you're thinking about. And for our more experienced people, please chime in with your insight and help answer some questions. I'm going to start off with currency. So obviously there's like a million things to stay current on, whether it's ancillary training or getting our beans, semi-annual stuff. It can be a little overwhelming. Uh, there is a why behind it, whether you like it or not. The Air Force, at many different levels, has determined that we have a certain amount of training that's necessary to perform our mission. And this can be stuff in the Vol 1, RAP tasking memo, and it can change constantly based on the threat, resources, real world conditions. And it translates into the minimum required, according to the Air Force, to perform our mission. So don't confuse currency with proficiency. Two different things. Talking about the how we do this, our SARMs and Harry Marquez got products. If you go to the SharePoint for the squadron, go to the SARM page and pull up your go no go file, sort by your name. That has all the stuff listed on there, and you can go in and figure out when you're coming due for things. If it's a ground training item, you can go to Harry. He can get you scheduled. If it's a flying type item, you can make the schedulers aware that you're coming due for, say, a 1-1-1, oceanic sortie, etc. So we have that support to help kind of manage your dates and provide visibility to you. Ultimately, though, it's a two-way street. You're expected to check that page, be aware of things that are coming up, and be proactive and getting yourself scheduled. Especially for training that's maybe annually, talk about like VTRAT, something like that. Get these things done early in the year. That way you don't have to worry about it when there's a mad rush, and the holidays are coming up. Bottom line, you're responsible for maintaining your currency. We have support available to help you. It's frustrating to miss out on a trip or an opportunity because you're, going to be overdue for CBRN or something like that. Relating this back to officership, you got to square yourself away before you can lead others, right? So just stay on top of your currency, and if you need any help, talk to the schedulers, talk to SARM. PT, big hot button issue. We beat this up a little bit during the last virtual OPD. Basically the hood, it covers everyone. We got triathletes, powerlifters, couch potatoes, everybody in between in the squadron. Bottom line, we have mandatory functions PT wise. I understand COVID, we're talking kind of post environment. We have mandatory functions, and we expect you to meet physical training standards. Monday PT is always a hot button issue because dudes are like, this is easy. I'm not really getting anything out of this. I'm a beast. Just realize that in the officer mindset, it's about setting the example, motivating people, coaching, the young enlisted. Maybe you don't need help, but I guarantee there is someone out there who does. So, take them under your wing and help them, lead them. Another recurring phrase I like is it's not about you. It's about setting the example and helping your people advance. This can be applicable in PT just like any other aspect of the job. So playing into the when, Squadron OI is pretty good about, giving us that time on Monday, get eyes on everybody, do something as a team. We also have 2 days a week for self-PT. Take advantage of that. It's cool to have a job in a unit that actually, pays you and gives you time to focus on yourself. Something else to note, going back talking about like Monday PT, you're crazy if you don't think that young enlisted notice when there's something that they have to do that the officers kind of blow off. So, and that brings us into, cynicism, classism, and an us versus them sort of thing. So, we don't want to foster that type of environment. You got to be out there. You got to be leading and setting the example. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What's expected, meet standards. You don't have to get 100. Recommend you get a 90 over the course of your career. It cuts your number of PT tests in half. So there's that. All right, a word from our sponsor. Today I chose Zero Foxtrot. If you're unfamiliar, badass Marine. Got out after a couple tours in Iraq, moved to Austin, and started an apparel company. I'm wearing one of their shirts today. It's their St. Patrick's Day Spill Blood Not Whiskey. So I'm trying to abide by that. I got a Talisker 10 in my vintage Silverline roly-poly. Cheers to you. Zero Foxtrot also, they're real big on making sure that all their products 100% American made, and they're a big supporter of the military. So there you go. Moving on to your personal battle rhythm. All right, just casually around the unit, I've noticed mostly two types of people. You got the ones who are running around like crazy all day, and they never get all their tasks done. And then another group seems to not have enough to do. Neither of them are healthy. If you're in that former category where you just have so much, realize that there's a leadership opportunity there to learn to delegate, pass things to your assistants, and help them learn how to do things. I understand, they might not get the job done exactly how you would do it. There's a pride of ownership there. But again, it's not about you. It's about developing the next generation. Just like in the airplane, we don't have our most experienced instructors flying every approach on a mission, or else the co-pilots would never learn. So they need their touches too. So offload some of that work and help develop people. If you're in that latter category, there's tons of stuff out there. Volunteering, working on currency, talking to your supervisor about taskings, hanging out, talking to people about flying. As a minimum, you should be checking your currency daily, schedule training as it pops up, check your email for taskers, and engage with your leadership for projects or tasks. Make a routine to how you check these things and accomplish your work. And don't forget to put in, hit the lunch train, workout, etc. You can create your own syllabus, things to do during the week, set goals in your GRAC book, whatever it is. The point is, have a plan and make good use of your time. Don't just show up and wait to be told what to do. Again, officer mindset. The Squadron OI gives you a number of events that are scheduled during the week. These should be a priority for you unless you have something, firmly scheduled. Like I got to go to Seaburn. I got my PT test or something scheduled. We could talk about prioritizing and balance and task management in general all day. One thing I want you to do is think about tackling near targets, but also chipping away at far targets. Like if your OPR is coming due in a month or two, maybe start doing a bullet here or there, things like that. One time I was working with the Army, and one of the dudes, he would have a board up on his whiteboard, and I forget the distances, but it was like 100 meter, 10 meter, 5 meter, and then bayonet. And obviously, bigger near rocks, far rocks. Just think about that, and don't let things fall out of your cross check just because they're not right in front of your face. Going to talk about being present. This is about balance, right? I understand pandemic being present. I'm talking more about the mindset, a mental or emotional sense more than a physical one. Things pop up, opportunities pop up short notice. It's the people who are available that usually get a shot at them. People who are around, willing, helpful, people who have been willing to take and perform less desirable tasks in the past, they usually get the good deals when they come around. Uh, just be aware there's a discernible quality in people looking to score for themselves versus those who are looking to help others and move the mission. Figure out what type of person you are. I would probably be the latter. Realize people notice who's at CT, who's asking questions, who's running briefs, and this can be done in a virtual environment, so make it a point to be present, be helpful. Balance this against lingering, the dude who's me, hounding the scheduling desk. We want you to verbalize your desires, especially to your supervisors. Just know there's a line between being available and being a nuisance. And learning where that line is, how to read a room, that's part of self-awareness. Now, attitude. We could talk about this for hours as well. We don't want yes men, yes people, but we need people who will not say no. By that I mean people who help the organization get to yes by identifying barriers and helping others remove them. The types we love to hate, support organizations, point to their regs and explain, I can't help you move the mission. We need people who can say yes, but we need these things to get there. We're an organization that moves forward, and it's your energy as officers that inspires and leads others to keep pushing. A more junior mind simply reacts to what's happening to them. As officers, don't react to what, rather try to understand the why and help others with the how. Talking about emotions, there's a number of studies that prove that you can catch emotions. What does this mean for the organization? It means your attitude has an effect on others and can be passed along. And negativity and cynicism can grow just as much as positivity, if not more so, especially when times are stressful. Those studies also show that the higher you are in an organization, the effect of your attitude is disproportionate on others. Just think if you had an airman show up at the office, they're in a bad mood, people are kind of wondering, what's wrong with this dude? The commander, the OG shows up and they're pissed off. You start wondering, what did I do wrong? Are we in trouble? What's happening? And you carry that attitude with you on the road. We need you positive, because your crew is going to mirror your attitude. We're not saying you got to run around being a grinning idiot all day, but have that positivity, maturity, forward thinking. Bringing that positive attitude to situations, especially when things start going wrong. The trans isn't working out, the jet's breaking, things are happening, can poison a crew, especially if the AC and the pilots start going down that road. So we want to foster that positive attitude. All right, so that was quick and dirty. I got some homework here. Thursday, I may not be there since I'm out on the road, but we're going to have Rapping with Roger Rabe on Thursday at 10 local. What I want you to think about is, what questions do you have about currency? I know it can be confusing. Opening the Vol 1, you see these Q's and M's and all this stuff, and ancillary training. It seems like a lot. So if you have any questions, please bring that up, and hopefully we'll have some training people there, can talk it out. Also, what is your personal battle rhythm? What tips, techniques, especially with the quarantine going on, what's your personal battle rhythm to keep busy and engaged and make yourself better? Thirdly, how do we learn to balance in conveying our needs to leadership? How do we stay mission, organization, externally focused as opposed to internally focused? How do you take care of yourself while also taking care of others? And lastly, I want you to think of an example that others' attitudes had affected you. This could be in a positive or negative way. I just want to illustrate that point about catching emotions. All right, so that's a wrap on OPD 1. Hope to see everybody in the chat room, on Zoom, on Thursday. If I'm not there, Asper will take it. But if you have any comments or feedback, text it to me, send it to me, put it in the comments. I appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to y'all later. Cheers.